If you had been following our social media during the break, chances you might have come across a post that I made, which would have been a spoiler to the song that I brought today. 2021 was a very special year of music for me. I had gone on musical journeys with newfound loves that were some of, if not the deepest connections I've ever had with music in all my life. Whether it was through the attachment I had to particular artists and albums, to experiences had at concerts, both virtually and out in the real world. Among those special journeys was the journey that I got to take that year alongside the artist Former Hero through the companionship I was given from their debut album Footpaths. If you know me, you know this story quite well already. This is yet another album that I randomly chose to listen to on a whim with no prior idea of who or what it was. I just saw the artwork, thought it was pretty, saved it to my library to listen to at work, and the rest is history. My love for the album set in right from the beginning, as the core sounds in Former Hero's music totally matches some of my personal favorite sounds of music. It's vibrantly dancey, unabashedly EDM at some points, and with songwriting that had so much charm for me with its very poignant and intimate lyrics, raw vocal delivery, energetic and twinkling guitar melodies with crescendos into hardcore adjacent breakdowns as well, that it all really resonates personally a lot to me with the special love and affinity I have for emo sounds and aesthetics like that. But who is Former Hero? What you need to know is that Mike is from the United Kingdom, who gave up their life as a crime fighting superhero to be the producer, songwriter, and multi instrumentalist in his music project. Perhaps my soul twin, as it appears we both share an unhealthy love of all things pink. I suppose we'll have to have a conversation and see where we align on things like flamingos, the most diversive and the most divisive opinions when it comes to pink. Mike shares through the liner notes in the vinyl for Footpaths that this album began in 2018, and there was no expectations for what it would be or what he sought out to achieve with it, creatively or as a product. It all sounded like the hallmarks of a true passion project, going in there for the sake of the creative journey and outlet. The music speaks for itself with its intensely emotional songs that Former Hero has crafted to tell stories capturing his significant moments of blissful and bittersweet life experiences. And it was on these grounds where I was able to make such a deep and personal connection with the album and how it remained a significant part for the better half of the year that it stayed a musical companion for me. There were several songs that I feel would provide a blissful and emotional hit that there would have not been a bad choice when picking a song to bring. And I ended up deciding on the song Foxgloves because I wanted to bring something with nonstop feel good energy. Let's get the party started. Enjoy.
We talk about foxgloves. We talk about foxgloves. We talk about we talk about foxgloves. planted in row, and all the while I'll ignore the problem. I'll get so drunk I can barely make it home. I need your help, but I can't ask, so we talk about foxgloves planted in row, and all the while I'll ignore the problem. I'll get so drunk I can barely make it home. I need your help, but I can't ask, so we talk about foxgloves, slurring my words. All this beauty just makes me worse. I'll get so drunk I don't wanna go home. I know I'm leaving soon, so we talk about foxgloves.
Woo! What a ride.
Mm,
That was
yeah,
such a banger, but like so euphoric.
Yeah,
yeah, yeah, definitely.
that's definitely his energy.
Oh
Um,
man, I love it.
yeah, I was looking forward to this episode for a long time actually. Um, because I love doing the show, and I know we had a break, and that meant inevitably that we're going to start again. And there's that thought process is like, okay, well, what are we going to do for the first episode? And I didn't know what I wanted to start with, and then uh, during the break, I did do a tweet about this. I did end up receiving the vinyl for this album, and it was actually a crowd-funded project. So it's not like something that you could just go to like an online store and purchase. Like it was all crowd-funded, and it's limited supply. So the people who crowd-funded are the ones that got the copy of the vinyl. So when it came, I was like so excited, and I was like so happy. Like I was like, it like reinvigorated my love for this album, that I was like, you know what, I gotta definitely like, honor this feeling that I got from this surprise. So I was like, I'm gonna make Former Hero my first episode pick of the year. I think like it really set the tone for the energy that I was bringing into the new year, because it was like at the end of like December when that all happened. So I wanted to carry that feel good energy into the beginnings of this year and the first episode. So I've been looking forward to this, and very honored to have been able to get the first song for the year in the episode. And yeah, I'm just really glad that I was able to share it.
Yeah.
I feel
Speaking
like
of
I'm gonna
energy, like
sneeze.
I, it's so interesting to me. Like it's kind of high energy but chill at the same time.
Uh-huh.
It's like sped up dreamwave, sort of.
Hmm. Yeah.
um, and I think a lot of that has to do with the sounds that are being chosen, and like the sort of washed out quality of his voice.
Hmm.
But as to the sounds themselves, like I was very impressed by just how crafted it seemed every individual sound is. Like even some of those pops, like there's like
Hmm.
a strong hit and then like a fade, but like they're like lots of little ones, like so that happens
Hmm.
very quickly in like a
Yeah.
rapid amount of time, but you can still hear like the little fades in between, which is like really
Hmm.
satisfying.
Yeah.
Yeah, it sorry, I feel like I'm gonna sneeze, but I'm not
Okay.
sneezing. So like if I suddenly cut out, it's because I hit mute really quick. Uh it I lost my train of thought. It made me want to create, like, it's inspired me to create like a going on walks playlist because like that's the
Oh.
energy I want when I'm like walking past pretty
Uh-huh.
scenery. Like I want something to propel me forward, but something that like makes me feel like I'm also entering another realm at the same
Hmm.
time.
Right.
And it felt like it really would be great for that kind of vibe.
Hmm.
So I will be starting a walking playlist, and that will be the first one on it.
Cool. Awesome. I love this idea, and um, I fully encourage you to check out more songs from this album, at the very least to possibly, find something that you might want to add to it, because I think like a lot of the songs on this album really do fit that sort of energy, that um, vibe of like walking into like a new realm. Because it seems like that's a big thing in terms of what he tries to do with his songs. It feels like you are entering some other place, and that other place does feel like it accompanies walking very, very well. So yeah, check out some other songs from the album, I think.
It actually felt like the song itself was like traveling through
Hmm.
realms in some ways. Like I was really surprised by the section where we got more lyrics and more singing. I didn't
Hmm.
expect it to come in. I was glad to hear it, and I thought it added a lot of dimension to the song
Hmm.
that it otherwise it would have been hard to sort of like sometimes the beat boops, for lack
Hmm.
of better words. Sometimes the beat boops can kind of like meld together in my brain and all kind of sound the
Mm,
same. So getting that break into that vocal bit was really, really nice to have a little break.
yeah.
Yeah. I loved the lyrics adding that emotional content as well. Like a little bit of
Hmm.
narrative
Mm-hmm.
is really appreciated in any song, but like I feel like a lot of EDM songs just like don't care about
Hmm.
emotional connection or narrative. They're just like generic
Yeah.
lyrics that sound nice, but like it's like what does it mean? Nothing really.
Right.
Um and the beginning I had in my notes before we got to that break with like the narrative lyrics. Do they ever talk about foxgloves? Turns out they do.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, we actually get the resolution to that story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
I think I'd still like it even if the lyrics were nonsense, but I'm not a
mhm,
lyric listener, so there's that.
mhm. Um, yeah, to kind of go back to what Jesse mentioned earlier as well, how this song is like really packed with a lot of like very nuanced layers. Um, I think that's something that I have found to like really love about this album. That that sort of quality isn't just on this song; it's in his entire craft as a artist in general. And I've listened to this album so many times, and just for point of reference, this was my second favorite album of the year when it came out. It was only behind Porter Robinson's Nurture, which is like hand in hand, very much the same sort of album. It's very emotional EDM sort of stuff. So it was kind of funny how that worked out. That both my number one and my number two albums of the year were just very spiritually similar. Um, but uh, I listened to this album so many times, and something that I really appreciate is how I can like vividly recall just the smallest like sound details, and there's so many um you know conscientious choices that he makes, like the way that he processes his vocals to give an effective terms of like how far away he might be, or is this like a sound effect to um give this feeling like maybe it's an inner voice speaking rather than him himself kind of like saying these lines, or just like these really small like sound details of like at the beginning of this song, during like the first verse, like something that I tend to like focus on now just because I listen to the song so much is that there's like this like really hazy kind of like um hazy sort of I don't even know how to describe it. It's almost like this. sort of like distorted layer that's happening, and it's just like um, supporting the sounds above it, the melodies and the bleep bloops, um, and yeah, there's just like so much there to like point out that it feels like, to go back to like what Kay was saying, it almost feels like this very deliberate other world rather than just like these are music elements. And I really appreciate that because like it's on every single song. Like there's these really small elements that really make it feel like they were so conscientious that I feel like I'm being invited on purpose to this world that he is thinking about and creating as a musical landscape. So yeah.
On
I'm
the
glad you mentioned
Genius,
that.
oh, so, that.
I'll fight you for it. You go first.
Okay. I lose the fight. I go first. On the Genius lyrics site, it says that the song is about being drunk and trying to talk about random things to convince other people that you're not drunk.
Uh-huh.
Which I'm not 100% like. I feel like there's room for interpretation, but like if that's
Yeah.
true, like I think the vocal delivery sounds very in character for that, like a little disaffected,
Uh-huh.
unattached, kind of a little slurry here and there.
Yeah.
And I think it does, like you talk about like going to another place with the song, but it could also be like an altered state. I think
Hmm.
is another
Hmm.
way to think about it.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
like that, and that never crossed my mind. Despite there is definitely like some mention in the song, about getting drunk and things like that. Um, but it never crossed my mind, and that is a really entertaining, you know, take uh, to possibly have this narrative journey to go on whenever you listen to the song. It definitely changes the character, which is cool.
I was going to say it's really memorable. Today is actually the first time I heard it because I didn't listen ahead this week.
Hmm.
And it's still playing back in my head
Yeah.
despite how only having that one listen, which I think is really difficult to do, especially for something that is so beat boopy. Like it's
Yeah.
so many manufactured sounds that you don't feel like there would be a lot of melody, but there still
Hmm.
is.
Yeah. Yeah, I think his one of his strong suits is melody, and you think of like EDM music, and you think of like what is memorable. Usually it's the two most obvious things, the vocal hook or the melody. Um but there is just something like so like really charming about the way that he uses instrumental melodies, and that they're like infectious and catchy, but very memorable, like what you're
Hmm.
saying. And something about it just feels uncharacteristically not EDM. The types of melodies that he makes, because like they kind of just like stick to me after I listen to them. And I think that's one of the cool things about this album is that like when I think about the album, just like when I'm not listening to it, a thing that sticks out to me is the melodies that like represent the album, and I think that's a really cool thing, that this unspoken sort of quality of the music is what stands out as like a strong like connection in terms of like memory for the music. So yeah, if you like the melody for this song, I have a feeling like there's going to be other melodies if you do check out the other songs, that's going to like just stick in your head because he has like some sort of magic when it comes to that.
I'll definitely be listening to the whole album this week.
Yeah.
A, a
I don't have
quick
anything else.
a quick aside. We're kind of in the song right now because we're talking about Foxgloves.
We are. I didn't
Or
even
like
realize that.
punching gloves or boxing.
Oh no, Kay's gonna
Oh
beat me up.
no, those darn foxes.
All right. Anything else about um, the artist?
Yeah. So, well, first things first, Mike, if you're out there, you know, if you've gone back to your, life of fighting crime, best of luck with that. But truly, thank you for like the music that you feel, is important to create and to share with us. And I hope that we get more. So thank you very much for, bringing that into all our lives. And other than that, if you like what you heard today, I can't recommend the album enough. Footpaths. It's a beautiful and magical journey that is both parts emotional but blissful and euphoric. You really can't go wrong. Just pick something random and you'll enjoy it. It starts off with like it's like the bookends are so interesting that it starts off with two songs that are like 4 minutes, and you're like, okay, those are bite sized, and then it ends on two songs that are 8 minutes. So it's like you got your bite sized stuff, you got your epic stuff. Um, and Yeah, check out his SoundCloud, soundcloud.com/, former hero, and you can see what he's up to there, as well as all his other socials as well, if you want to check out what he's doing. Other than that, that's going to be former hero for today.
I'm still jamming to it in my head.